Well, it's like Peyton was right. I mean, he said, this may be his last rodeo. I mean, but he said he's going to take time. I mean, but you definitely got to give credit to the Broncos. They definitely hung in there, and their defense wanted it more. I mean, you got to give hats off to Panthers defense. I mean, they played as much as they could. Offense just really couldn't do anything. But you definitely got to give credit to Von Miller. And as I said, even the prediction that the Panthers were going to win, like I said, if the Broncos was going to win, Miller had to have an outstanding game, and so he definitely did that. I mean, when you're that type of player and you can dominate a game, I mean, everybody else feeds off of it. I mean, they played to the last play. But I mean, you definitely got to look at it. I mean, there was too many personal fouls. And the receivers for the Panthers, I mean, they have to understand that there was a few times where they ran routes into the defender instead of running like down to the first down and then stop or come straight down line versus going to the defender. And I mean, they made a couple of great plays. I mean, you just definitely got to give it to them. I mean, they missed a field goal. I mean, it just was just out of it. I mean, Brown definitely made a deep catch. And I see he got hurt. But you definitely got to be careful. But definitely he played as good as he could. So, I mean, and then the other time when 56 is running off the field, I think that you have to hurry up and do a hurry up offense. I think that's something that Aaron Rodgers is very great at. Getting a player and trying to do hurry up. It could have been a free play where they could have threw the ball down the field or anything like that. I mean, Ward definitely picked it off when he had the interception. I mean, Panthers came back and hit him, but I mean, Denver was there, to pick up the ball. So you got to look at Ely was playing a lot of sacks. I mean, you got special teams, too many penalties. Number 33 has some unnecessary penalties. I mean, just mentally, I think they wasn't prepared for the game, as far as the type of magnitude, and you can't be making plays like that. I mean, you're in the Super Bowl. I mean, these plays are magnified, and they can cost your team and anything like that. So, I mean, even with Stewart, when he ran the ball, I mean, he definitely, carried it well, but you definitely got to do good ball security, So, and you looking at the Panthers' numbers during the season, they were second in the run, 24th in the pass, offense 11 overall. So they were forced to pass into the number one defense in the league, and they're just definitely not used to it. I mean, the run sets up their pass, so, they kind of have all them rushing yards, then they throw a couple passes at the end, and then simply they just run and keep all the yards or anything like that. But they definitely have to give Cam Newton some better options as far as like coming out the backfield. I mean, maybe bring in another receiver. I know Benjamin got hurt early in the season, the receiver, but they definitely got to bring in somebody that can help him. I mean, you definitely got to get credit again. He definitely stepped up. I mean, too many false start penalties. I mean, they almost got a cut. They got to delay a game, so even in the second half, I mean, at one point, they had 6 penalties for 60 yards, and Denver had no penalties. So, I mean, obviously, Kubiak definitely talked to them about getting everything together. Definitely they could have worked on their third down. And Josh Norman, I mean, again, if he wants to be one of those dominant cornerbacks in the game, actually win a Super Bowl, you definitely got to make plays. Like there was 2 interceptions that should have been his. I mean, definitely like you looking at Deion Sanders, those were plays that would have been made. You look at like a Charles Woodson, Champ Bailey back in the day, those were plays that definitely would be made by great players. I mean, he's a young player, so definitely growing, but those are something that you definitely have to get. And, I mean, at the end, I mean, it was 7 sacks and, definitely, I mean, Von Miller was coming around the end. I mean, they couldn't block him. I mean, you definitely have to have somebody kind of chip him, running back. I mean, double teaming him, hitting him every play to frustrate him, and then maybe hitting him and then somebody running out the backfield to give him Cam Newton that extra play. I mean, that way, instead of sitting in the pocket, and they actually had a good defensive game. I think it was Wade Phillips, but they're having the defensive like kind of like a little cup, around the forcing him to kind of step up a little bit or, try to stay in the pocket, and there was really nowhere for him to go. I mean, your receivers are going down the field, and they're not getting open, and they're dropping passes as well, too. I mean, that can frustrate you. You saw the frustration at the end of the game. I mean, even though they should have called that penalty, but in the end, I mean, they're not really going to call that. They don't really care. I mean, they just want to get the game over with, and that's why you have to put yourself in position to win, and you definitely got to take advantage of it, and be prepared for it. I mean, I definitely look like they'll rebound, but I definitely look like they're going to make some decisions. I mean, we'll definitely wait and see what Peyton did, but I mean, they just wanted it more. I mean, you could see at the end of the game, they was like, congratulations. I mean, they was happy to win it for Peyton Manning. They're definitely going to look at, in the offseason, probably with Osweiler and maybe bringing in another quarterback or anything like that. I mean, 'cause looking at Peyton Manning, I mean, he definitely can go out on top. I mean, he's probably going to have like hip surgery at the end, anything like that. But I mean, you go out on top. I mean, the same thing John Elway did when he won in Denver. He went out on top and that was it. So, I mean, unless Peyton wants to come back for another year, but you definitely look at he's probably going to end up retiring or anything like that.